There's a specific kind of person who can be completely overwhelmed, exhausted, struggling, barely holding it together, and still answer, "I'm fine," the moment someone asks. Not because they're lying, exactly, but because asking for help feels almost physically impossible, even when they desperately need it. If you've ever pushed through something alone that you clearly didn't have to, or felt a wave of panic at the thought of admitting you're struggling, this video is about why that happens. It's not weakness, and it's not stubbornness. It's a psychological pattern with a very specific origin, and understanding it is the first step to finally breaking it. For most people, asking for help is simply practical, a normal part of functioning in the world. But for a specific group of people, it triggers something closer to a threat response. Their heart rate rises slightly. Their mind races to justify why they don't really need help, and the words get stuck before they ever leave their mouth. Psychologists link this to what's sometimes called self-reliance as safety. At some point, this person learned that needing others came with a cost, being seen as a burden, being let down, or being judged as incapable. So the brain rewired itself around a simple rule. It is safer to struggle silently than to risk depending on someone who might not show up. This is why the inability to ask for help rarely has anything to do with actual capability. Some of the most competent, high-achieving people are the ones who struggle with this the most, because their independence was never really a choice. It was a defense mechanism that got mistaken for a personality trait. This pattern almost always traces back to early experiences we're expressing. A need led to disappointment. Maybe a request for comfort was met with impatience. Maybe a parent was emotionally unavailable. So the child learned to manage big feelings alone, simply because there was no one consistently there to help manage them. Over time, the child doesn't consciously decide, "I will never ask for help again." Instead, the nervous system quietly learns a shortcut. Needing something from someone else leads to disappointment, so it's safer not to need anything at all. That shortcut becomes so automatic that by adulthood, it doesn't even feel like a decision anymore. It feels like identity. I'm just independent. I just handle things myself. I don't like relying on people, but underneath that identity is often an old, unspoken fear. If I ask and they say no, or worse, if I ask and they don't even notice, I won't be able to handle that disappointment again. So the mind protects itself by never testing it in the first place. The tragedy of this pattern is that it doesn't actually protect the person. It slowly isolates them instead. When someone never asks for help, the people around them eventually stop offering it, not out of neglect, but because it genuinely looks like they don't need it. The stronger someone appears on the outside, the less support they tend to receive, even when they need it the most. This creates a painful, invisible cycle. The person carries more and more alone, while appearing increasingly capable to everyone around them. Friends and family aren't ignoring their struggle. They simply can't see it, because it's been hidden so well for so long that it's become nearly invisible. Eventually, this can lead to burnout that seems to come out of nowhere to everyone else, but has actually been building quietly for months or years. The exhaustion isn't sudden, it's just finally visible. Let's break down 6 specific signs of this pattern. 1. You say, "I'm fine," almost automatically, even in moments when you're clearly not, because it's faster than explaining and risking the wrong reaction. 2. You feel a spike of anxiety just imagining asking someone for a favor, even something small, like asking a coworker to cover a shift. 3. You'd rather struggle for hours alone than send one message asking for guidance, even when the message would take 30 seconds to answer. 4. You overhelp others constantly, but rarely allow anyone to return the favor, because giving feels safe while receiving feels like exposure. 5. You wait until you're at a breaking point before admitting anything is wrong, rather than raising a concern early while it's still manageable. 6. You feel a strange guilt after receiving help, even when it was offered freely, as if you now owe something in return. If several of these sound familiar, this isn't a flaw in your character. It's a well-practiced survival strategy, one that made sense once and can be gently retrained now. The goal isn't to suddenly become dependent on everyone around you. It's to rebuild the ability to ask, so that when you genuinely need support, you have access to it. First, start small and low stakes. Ask someone to recommend a restaurant or to help you carry something. These tiny requests retrain your nervous system to associate asking with a normal, safe interaction, not a risk. Second, separate the request from your self-worth. Needing help with one task does not mean you are incapable overall. A single request is not a referendum on your entire competence. It's just one moment where you didn't have to do something alone. Third, notice the discomfort without obeying it. When the urge to say, "I'm fine," comes up, pause. You don't have to overshare, but you can try a smaller truth. Honestly, it's been a lot lately. That's often enough to open a door without requiring you to fully collapse the wall at once. And finally, remember that the people who care about you would generally rather know you're struggling than find out later how long you carried it alone. Letting someone help you isn't a burden on them. For most people who genuinely care, it's actually a way of feeling closer to you if you've spent years being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who never needs anything. Understand this, that strength was real, but it was also costing you something. You were never meant to carry everything alone. Asking for help isn't the opposite of strength. Sometimes it's the bravest use of it. If this described you, let me know in the comments. Was there a specific moment you remember learning to stop asking? And subscribe, because next week we're exploring why some people feel more comfortable being alone than being fully known by someone else.